Tammy Slaton's story has always been one that pulled people in raw, honest, and full of transformation. From the very beginning, she and her sister Tammy captured the hearts of millions who saw a piece of themselves in their struggles, their laughter, and their fights. Over the years, fans have rooted for Amy through her highs and lows, watching as she turned her life upside down, losing an incredible amount of weight and working toward a healthier, happier version of herself. But now, as Season 6 of 1000 lb Sisters unfolds, concern is growing once again. Many can't help but wonder, is Amy risking it all? When the show first aired in 2020, it wasn't just another reality series. It was real life, laid bare. Two sisters from Kentucky, facing lifelong obesity, emotional struggles, and a complicated family dynamic, opened their world to cameras and to judgment. Amy weighed over 400 pounds, Tammy more than 600. Together, they embodied the name of the show, a combined 1,000 pounds, but also 1,000 reasons to fight for change. It wasn't just about weight, it was about survival. Amy was only 32 then, recently married, full of hope, and dreaming of starting a family. But her health stood in her way. Every step, every breath, every meal came with a reminder of what her body could no longer handle. Yet despite all that, Amy carried a spark of optimism that never went out. When she finally stepped on that industrial-sized scale and saw 408 pounds staring back at her, the tears came not just from shock but from the realization of how far things had gone. That moment, painful, raw, unforgettable, became the turning point. She knew she had to change. The Slaton sisters didn't come from privilege or comfort. Their mother worked long hours, and as children, Amy and Tammy often had to fend for themselves. Food became their comfort, their friend, their escape from loneliness. Cheap meals, processed snacks, and sugary drinks filled their childhood. Those habits followed them into adulthood, shaping not just their bodies but their emotions. Food wasn't just fuel, it was how they coped with the world. Amy's decision to pursue gastric bypass surgery was a bold one. She wanted to live, truly live, not just exist. She wanted to be a mother, and for that, she needed to fight for her health. Under the care of Dr. Charles Proctor, she began the long and difficult process of preparing for surgery. For anyone unfamiliar, gastric bypass isn't a quick fix. It's a complete reprogramming of how a person eats, digests, and lives. It divides the stomach into a small pouch, drastically reducing capacity, and reroutes the intestines so that less food is absorbed. It's a procedure that can save lives, but only if the person is ready to change their entire relationship with food. Amy took that risk. She went under the knife, knowing that success wouldn't just depend on the surgery itself, but on what came after. The recovery, the diet, the exercise, the mental struggle, all of it mattered. And when she came out on the other side, something remarkable happened. The weight began to drop, slowly at first, then faster. 400 pounds became 350, then 300, then 250. Every pound shed felt like another chain breaking free. Fans cheered her on with every update. Her face grew slimmer, her energy brighter, and her spirit lighter. Amy was finally living the life she had dreamed of. She became pregnant, welcoming her first son, Gage, and later her second, Glenn. For Amy, motherhood wasn't just about raising children. It was proof that her transformation had meaning. She had achieved what once seemed impossible, not only losing weight but gaining life itself, but success. As viewers of 1000 lb Sisters have learned, doesn't always come without struggle. Weight loss surgery changes the body, but it doesn't automatically heal the emotional wounds that led to weight gain in the first place. As the seasons went on, fans started to notice small things, subtle signs that Amy might be slipping. On the surface, she was still doing well. Her weight was down to around 237 pounds, a huge difference from her 408-pound starting point. She talked openly about wanting skin removal surgery, the next big step in her transformation. Her doctors supported her, but with one condition: she needed to lose another 30 pounds first. That seemed doable. But then came the social media posts. In one TikTok video, Amy sat in a hotel room with her boyfriend Brian, laughing, chatting, and eating fast food late at night. The video caption read, "Trying Mr. Beast burger." To casual viewers, it looked harmless, just a fun moment. But longtime fans immediately grew concerned. They knew what that kind of food could mean for someone who had undergone gastric bypass surgery. Amy's stomach was smaller now, more fragile. Overeating or eating the wrong foods wasn't just bad for her diet, it could physically harm her. Comments poured in. Some were supportive, but others were filled with worry. "Sad to see you putting the weight back on," one wrote. Another said, "Please be careful, you have diabetes." "Hun, you don't want to gain weight back." Amy clapped back, insisting she never had diabetes and that one hamburger wouldn't make her gain 200 pounds. Still, fans couldn't shake their concern. The truth was, Amy looked slightly different, not dramatically, but enough to make people wonder if she was losing control again. Her cheeks seemed fuller, her posture less confident. It wasn't judgment, it was fear. Fear that someone who had worked so hard might be falling back into old patterns. Behind the scenes, things weren't easy either. Amy was adjusting to being a single mother after separating from her husband. The emotional toll of raising 2 kids, managing fame, and dealing with public scrutiny would be enough to make anyone crumble. For someone with a history of emotional eating, the temptation to find comfort in food can return stronger than ever. Those who have followed Amy's journey understand how complex her relationship with food has always been. It's not just hunger, it's history, emotion, habit, and pain all tangled together. For years, food was Amy's coping mechanism. It filled the silence when things got hard, soothed the sadness when she felt alone, and became a reward when life finally seemed good. But that kind of comfort doesn't just disappear after surgery. The body may change, but the mind still craves the same relief. Amy's fans love her because she's real. She doesn't pretend to be perfect. Her laughter, her tears, her messy moments, they remind people that change isn't linear. You can do everything right and still stumble. You can lose 169 pounds and still struggle to say no to a burger after a long, exhausting day. But what's most worrying now is that Amy's setbacks might not just be small missteps. The medical risks for gastric bypass patients are serious. Overeating can lead to nausea, pain, and even ruptures in the stomach. Sugary or greasy foods can cause dumping syndrome, where the body reacts violently, causing dizziness, sweating, and rapid heart rate. And beyond the physical effects, there's the emotional weight of disappointment, the fear of letting everyone down, especially yourself. As season 6 continues, viewers are seeing a more vulnerable side of Amy. Her smiles are there, but they're tired. Her tone is softer, sometimes defensive. She's balancing motherhood, fame, and her own health in ways that few could truly understand. And while fans continue to root for her, they can't ignore the warning signs. Amy has always said she wanted to live for her children, to be there as they grow up, to give them the life she never had. But to do that, she'll need to confront more than just her diet. She'll have to face the emotional triggers that lead her back to old habits. Losing weight wasn't just a physical journey, it was a mental one. And in many ways, that mental battle is far harder to win. Still, Amy's resilience shouldn't be underestimated. Time and time again, she's proven that she can rise above the odds, whether it was facing public criticism, recovering from surgery, or enduring heartbreak. She's always found a way to keep going. That's what makes her story so powerful. She may stumble, but she doesn't stop. She may feel lost, but she keeps searching for a way forward. And maybe that's what makes Amy Slaton's journey so deeply human, the fact that she's still fighting, still learning, still trying to be the best version of herself, even when it's hard. As she stands now, at 37 years old, Amy's life looks completely different from the one she started with. She's slimmer, a mother of 2, independent, and more self-aware than ever before. But with all that progress comes pressure to stay perfect, to stay inspiring, to keep proving to the world that the transformation was worth it. That kind of pressure can weigh heavier than any number on a scale. Amy's fans see her strength, but they also see her struggle. And while many continue to cheer her on, there's an unspoken fear shared by all who have watched her journey from the beginning, that the very battle she thought she had conquered might still be raging quietly beneath the surface. Because the truth is, transformation isn't about the surgery or the numbers. It's about healing, mind, body, and soul. And for Amy Slaton, that healing journey is still unfolding. As Amanda's condition became more complicated, the uncertainty began to weigh heavily on her mind. Nights turned into restless battles where she couldn't sleep from discomfort, and days blurred together between doctor visits and filming obligations. She had always been the one who kept her family grounded, the sister who didn't hesitate to call out nonsense or offer tough love. But this time, she was the one in need of strength. For once, her body wasn't responding the way she expected, and that terrified her. Her family noticed the change before the cameras did. Amy reportedly confessed that she saw her sister's hands shaking slightly during dinner one night. The lively sparkle in Amanda's eyes had dimmed. Tammy, who had been on her own recovery journey, recognized that same exhaustion. The kind that comes from more than physical pain. It's the fatigue of constant emotional struggle. The sisters sat together, silently understanding that this was another storm they'd have to weather as a family. When TLC resumed filming, producers noticed Amanda's low energy. They wanted to be respectful but couldn't ignore the reality. Fans had begun to notice too. Online discussions erupted about her visible dryness, fatigue, and occasional blank expressions during scenes. Some viewers speculated it was due to stress or exhaustion from filming, while others voiced concern that something serious might be happening behind the scenes. For Amanda, it wasn't about public opinion anymore. She wanted answers, real answers, about what her body was going through. Doctors continued testing, exploring possible autoimmune links, but results remained inconclusive. Each test only deepened the mystery. Amanda reportedly underwent skin biopsies, full blood panels, and hormone testing. One specialist even suggested that an environmental factor could be worsening her symptoms, perhaps something as small as a medication reaction or a vitamin deficiency masking as something larger. But the uncertainty was what hurt the most. How do you fight something you can't name? During this time, Amanda leaned on faith and family. Her brothers checked in often, offering practical support while Amy helped manage her appointments. Even Tammy, despite her own fragile health, made late-night calls to lift her sister's spirit. The once fractured sibling dynamic began to heal as they found common strength in caring for one another. Still, Amanda struggled with her confidence. She'd always been open about body image, but now she faced something different, not about size, but about identity. The mirror reflected a woman fighting to recognize herself. The dryness on her skin, the dull ache in her joints, and the fatigue clouding her mind began to chip away at her once uncheckable self. Yet every morning, she reminded herself that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's proof of survival. Fans kept noticing her quiet transformation online. Instead of posting glam selfies or playful family photos, Amanda's updates grew more reflective. She talked about healing, gratitude, and patience, words that hinted at the internal battle she was fighting. Her honesty struck a chord with followers who had dealt with invisible illnesses themselves. "I see myself in her," one commenter wrote. "You never know what people are going through, even when they smile on camera." Doctors soon introduced her to specialists familiar with rare autoimmune conditions that can mimic dryness and fatigue. One mentioned Sjogren's syndrome, another mentioned a rare endocrine issue. None were confirmed, but Amanda finally felt heard. She began a series of treatments, including hydration therapy, anti-inflammatory medications, and strict nutritional adjustments. Small improvements came slowly. Her skin began to heal, and her energy slightly returned, though flare-ups still struck without warning. Filming continued sporadically, with producers adjusting schedules to let Amanda rest. When she appeared on screen, her calm demeanor and determination resonated even more deeply with viewers. She wasn't the loud, fiery sister from earlier seasons. She was evolving into a figure of quiet resilience. That evolution became a storyline in itself. The transformation of a woman learning to live with uncertainty, while still being a pillar for her family. In interviews, Amanda avoided discussing her diagnosis directly but didn't shy away from acknowledging her struggles. She often said that life doesn't stop when you're unwell, it just changes pace. Those words, though simple, carried a weight that fans felt deeply. On social media, hashtags like #PrayForAmanda and #StayStrongAmanda began trending. Even other TLC personalities sent messages of encouragement. The outpouring of support became a source of motivation for her. Through all of it, the one constant was her determination to stay authentic. She didn't stage her recovery. She didn't dramatize it for the cameras. She lived it, raw and unfiltered. Each episode that featured her became a testament to perseverance, reminding viewers that pain can coexist with strength. Still, in private, Amanda wrestled with moments of doubt. Would she ever feel fully healthy again? Would her skin heal completely? Would she regain the boundless energy she once had? These questions haunted her, but she tried to focus on the progress rather than perfection. For her, healing wasn't about being cured. It was about reclaiming peace, one small victory at a time. As the season wrapped, Amanda's journey became one of the most talked about parts of 1000 Delby Sisters. She turned what could have been a tragic narrative into a story of hope and honesty. Fans saw her not as a victim, but as a survivor, someone who faced pain with grace and refused to let it define her. And though the mystery illness still lingered, Amanda's resilience made one thing clear. She wasn't just surviving, she was transforming. Time has passed since those uncertain months. And while Amanda may not have all the answers, she has found something even more valuable: balance. She's learned to listen to her body instead of fighting against it. On the days when energy runs low, she doesn't force herself to smile for the camera or maintain appearances. She's learned that self-care isn't selfish, it's survival, and in a world that often demands perfection, her quiet defiance has made her more inspiring than ever. Friends close to the family say that Amanda has adopted a slower, gentler lifestyle. Mornings now begin with gratitude rather than stress. She starts her day by journaling or walking outdoors, grounding herself in nature before the noise of the world seeps in. The simplicity of those moments, birdsong, the sound of wind against the trees, has become her therapy. It's where she remembers who she is beneath the fame, the expectations, and the illness. Her doctors have continued to monitor her condition closely, while they still describe it as a chronic dryness disorder possibly linked to autoimmune dysfunction. Amanda has made peace with the uncertainty. She's found ways to manage symptoms naturally, hydration routines, gentle exercise, and dietary changes that have restored some of her vitality. In her own words during a quiet live session with fans, she said, "You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how much it takes from your spirit." That line became one of the most replayed moments in her community, a motto for anyone fighting invisible battles. The support from fans has been overwhelming. Messages of love continue to pour in from people who see her as more than a reality TV star. To them, she's a symbol of endurance. Her comment sections are filled with encouragement. "You give us strength. Amanda, you're a warrior. Keep shining through the pain." And though she doesn't respond to every message, those words mean everything. They're reminders that vulnerability can create connections stronger than any scripted storyline. Family remains her anchor. Amy often brings her boys to visit, filling Amanda's home with laughter. Tammy, now healthier and more grounded than she's been in years, has taken on a nurturing role toward her sister. It's a touching reversal, the one who was once saved, now helping to save someone else in return. Their bond, once strained by fame and frustration, has grown unbreakable. The sisters often say that the show might have brought them pain, but it also forced them to grow, to face their flaws, their fears, and their love for one another head-on. When the new season of 1000 Delby Sisters began production, TLC approached Amanda carefully. They offered her a lighter filming schedule, giving her space to prioritize health first. She agreed, but on one condition: authenticity. No forced drama, no fake storylines. She wanted her journey to reflect truth, the hard days, the hopeful moments, and everything in between. The producers agreed, and that decision turned out to be one of the most powerful choices the show ever made. When her episode aired, viewers saw Amanda in a new light. There she was, sitting on her porch in the soft glow of evening, speaking with raw honesty about her illness. "Some days, I feel strong," she said softly. "Other days, I just feel tired, but I'm still here. And that's enough." That moment, stripped of glamour and pretense, became one of the most emotional scenes in the show's history. Fans didn't just watch, they felt it. Because it wasn't about weight anymore. It was about resilience. Over time, Amanda began incorporating mindfulness and creative outlets into her healing. She took up painting, something she'd loved as a child but forgotten amid the chaos of adulthood. Her art, often depicting women standing strong in storms or blooming through cracks, became a reflection of her inner world. It's how she processed pain, turning it into color, shape, and meaning. In interviews, she's mentioned how art gave her a language for emotions that words couldn't carry. Health-wise, her condition still requires ongoing care. There are flare-ups, sudden bouts of dryness that leave her exhausted, or moments when her skin feels paper-thin. But she's learned to treat her body like a friend instead of an enemy. She surrounds herself with gentleness, herbal teas, warm baths, soft fabrics, and moments of silence. It's a far cry from the fast-paced chaos of early fame, but it's exactly what she needs. But it's exactly what she needs. The public perception of Amanda has shifted to, once known as the sharp-tongued no-nonsense sister, she's now seen as the show's emotional heart. Her transformation, both physical and spiritual, has resonated deeply. She represents something that viewers rarely see on reality TV: the courage to show imperfection without shame. Through her journey, she's proven that true healing doesn't come from applause or attention, but from acceptance. Behind the scenes, the family has rallied around her. Even extended relatives have commented on how Amanda's resilience has brought everyone closer. It's as if her illness became a mirror, reflecting what really matters: connection, kindness, and care. Amy once said in a confessional, "We used to fight all the time about stupid stuff. Now, I just want to make sure my sister's okay. That's what's real." Those words struck a chord with audiences because they revealed the heart behind all the chaos. As the season drew to a close, Amanda decided to share one final message with fans, a handwritten note posted on her social media. "This journey has changed me," she wrote. "Not just my body, but my soul. I've learned that strength doesn't mean you never fall apart. It means you fall and still choose to rise." The post went viral overnight, not because of shock value, but because it was so profoundly human. Today, Amanda continues to live quietly, focusing on recovery and rediscovering joy in small things. Morning coffee, laughter with family, a walk in the garden. Her illness may still linger in the background, but it no longer defines her. Instead, it has shaped her into a woman of depth, empathy, and extraordinary grace. For viewers who have followed 1000 Delby Sisters from the beginning, Amanda's arc feels like a full circle from strength through humor to strength through vulnerability. She started as the protector of others and ended as a reminder that even protectors deserve protection. Her story stands as a quiet anthem to everyone battling unseen pain, proving that courage isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's simply the act of continuing, of showing up for yourself, when no one's watching. And though the cameras will keep rolling, capturing new chapters of the Slaton family's lives, Amanda's journey has already etched itself in viewers' hearts. She may have started as a supporting character, but she became something more, the soul of the story. Because in the end, Amanda Halterman's legacy isn't just about surviving a mystery illness or overcoming dryness that baffled doctors. It's about the power of staying soft in a hard world. It's about choosing peace when everything feels uncertain. It's about learning that healing doesn't always mean going back to who you were. Sometimes, it means becoming someone entirely new.